This is a paradise for wildlife, covering an area of 390,000 square kilometers. Victoria Falls, one of the most spectacular natural wonders on Earth. An historical monument dating back centuries. People of all ages and background, full of vitality. This is Glamorous, Zimbabwe. Traveling west from China's capital, Beijing, over the Himalayas, the Indian Peninsula, the Arabian Sea, and you arrive in Africa. In the hinterland of the continent is Zimbabwe, home to 13 million people. Victoria Falls City is a small town with a population of less than 30,000 people. It's situated on the southwestern border of the country. 6 a.m. Corin gets ready for his day. His job is to take tourists from all over the world to see Victoria Falls from the air. This is the Zambezi River. It's 2,600 kilometers long, the fourth largest river in Africa. It's cut here by a 1.7 kilometer long rift. The water drops by 108 meters, making a thunderous noise. The mist from the falls can be seen 50 kilometers away. This spectacular view is called the Smoke That Thunders by the Tonga people. In 1855, British explorer David Livingstone renamed these falls Victoria Falls in honor of the British Queen. These are the widest falls in the world. The best way to see it, from the air.
I enjoy the flights, and I enjoy showing people the flights, and they enjoy the waterfalls also. So it's a beautiful place, and it's beautiful to see from the air. It's really amazing.
In order to ensure that the tourists have a good view of the rainbow effect, Corin needs to be thoroughly prepared. This requires years of training and a lot of experience. Flying is the dream of many men. After high school, Corin became an Air Force pilot, as he had always dreamed. After being a pilot for 12 years, he had his first child. He faced a difficult choice between his family and his career in the Air Force. After weighing the pros and cons, Corin left the Air Force. His dream continued after he became a pilot for the Falls. After a week's work, Corin takes his children fishing on the Zambezi River. He enjoys his time with his family. This is Joseph. His family has moved here from Bulawayo, Zimbabwe's second largest city. Today, he is taking up his first major challenge in his life. Joseph is a drummer in a Tonga traditional dance troupe. The dances are about the hunting and farming activities of the people in the Zambezi Basin. Huge masks are made of straw, making the dances seem somewhat comedic and flamboyant. Following a day's rehearsal, Joseph walks along a railway bridge that was built in 1905. The bridge links Zambia and Zimbabwe. This is where he's going to take up his greatest challenge. Bungee jumping was originally a maturity ceremony for men on some South Pacific islands. Now it is a popular extreme sport all over the world. Joseph has lived here for 8 years. He sees tourists doing it here almost every day, and he hopes that one day he can try it too.
You fully connected? It's happening now. Let's go forward together. Okay, wait there. You ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Joseph plucks up his courage and jumps, clearing 100 meters in a matter of seconds.
I was just feeling like a bit to fly, just to fly. So it's fly like a bit far away.
Bungee jumping is not the only thrilling sport here. Whitewater rafting is also very exciting. It takes a day to raft 20 kilometers. Even with all those aboard working in unison, their boat will be tossed over 3 or 4 times before they reach the finish. Victoria Falls is often regarded as one of the most romantic places in the world. This is because there are always rainbows here. On their wedding anniversary every year, Joseph and Anna's would come here and walk in the mist. Kilometers east of the falls lies a small village on the outskirts of Masvingo. Chikwanda is fixing his roof. The house is small, but the division of functions is clear. Square fences contain small homes in this part of Zimbabwe. Farmers constitute 67% of the country's population, and they live in villages according to blood ties. Today, chieftains actually have the real power over management of their villages. Chikwanda's guest arrives just as he finishes fixing his house. Children are taught etiquette and dances by their grandmother. This is a very important lesson for the Shona people. This is an ordinary farmer's family in Zimbabwe. Shupiv, 45 years old. Kipo, 41. Both are Chikwanda's wives. As a descendant of the imperial family of the Humanities Empire, Chikwanda has 2 wives in accordance with tradition. Their ancestors created the most brilliant civilization in southern Africa, just 30 miles from their village. The enclosures are built with stones. The path, too. This strong stone complex was the king's residence. The valley complex is believed to be the residences of the empress and secondary consorts. Stone walls surround the residence of the empress. It's said that at its peak, over 200 secondary consorts lived here. This is the Kingdom of Zimbabwe that was created by Chikwanda's ancestors from the 11th to the 15th centuries. The name Zimbabwe is derived from the Shona language. It means large houses of stone. Beside the ruins is the Great Zimbabwe Hotel, modeled on them. Here you can experience what life was like in the ancient Shona Empire. Today, the ruined city is a World Heritage Site listed by the United Nations. In Zimbabwe, a lifestyle that is different from that of a hunter-gatherer survived. This is sadza, the cornmeal-based dietary staple of southern Africa. It is made of corn and millet powder, cooked over a mild fire. It is cooked slowly to become a paste that can be served by hand and with sauce. It can go with vegetables and meat in richer families. This simple food provides this family with enough calories. The food is prepared by the wives separately and is served together. The big family is bound together by the principles of hierarchy and careful division of labor. As society develops, many young people don't accept polygamy, even when it is legal. However, at least at the foot of the Great Zimbabwe ruins, this 1,000-year-old lifestyle helps to maintain peace and comfort in the family of Chikwanda. "350 kilometers due north is Harare, the capital of Zimbabwe. It's the country's economic center and is home to its most prestigious schools. The vigorous vitality here gives inspiration to many artists. The flowers in bloom in September and October make it known as the City of Flowering Trees." When the African drums are beaten, people react with great enthusiasm. August 6th is a special occasion for Addie's family. Today, his family is going to fulfill a promise.
Put it inside, yeah. No, that one is...
Addie's daughter, Natasha, is only 6. but she has learned how to pack up. Her experience has made her more independent than her peers.
Good job.
Their destination is the mountains in eastern Harare. Zimbabwe is located on a plateau in southern Africa. In eastern Zimbabwe lie mountain ranges that are 378 kilometers long. The region is a tourist attraction and is called a hiker's paradise. In the morning, Addie's family heads to Mount Nyangani. This is the highest peak in Zimbabwe at 2,594 meters above sea level. Reaching the top of the mountain is a challenge that many Zimbabweans want to take up. Climbing along a narrow path is really a challenge to Natasha and her younger brother, Arnold.
We can do this, right?
Let's show them our power.
Yeah! We can do this.
I'm strong.
I think about
This is to the top.
Choosing this day to take up the challenge is important to Addie's family. On August 6, 2012, Natasha was found to be suffering from Fanconi anemia, and she had only a 40% chance of survival. To live, she had to pay more than $200,000 US for a bone marrow transplant operation. This made Addie and his wife desperate because their annual income was less than $20,000. However, it never occurred to them that they should give up. They sought help from the rest of the world. At last, they had received enough money, and the operation took place in India. The bone marrow donor was the 3-year-old Arnold, Natasha's brother. Before the operation, Addie promised that if everything went smoothly with the operation, he would take his family to climb Zimbabwe's highest peak. In 2014, Natasha recovered and returned home. After 5 hours, Addie's family is now at the top of the peak. They believe that their destiny is in their hands as long as they help each other and stay together. It's said that Africa is the last continent where people and wild animals live together in harmony. When people visit Africa, they all want to be in close touch with wild animals. At sunrise, Francisco and his son are already in their car on a mission. 3 days ago, tourists saw lions near their camps. Lions are lazy. They don't want to hunt as long as they are full. There are exceptions, though.
Here there was a lion. She was called Masquerase, means good afternoon, because she ate 2 people, a Japanese and a European. From there, they transferred her here. And here she was like hunting, let's say, people. She was pointing us.
Father and son are eager to find the lions as soon as possible to keep the tourists safe. But they have found none over the past 3 days. This is Manipul's National Park, a place where tourists can enjoy primitiveness and wilderness. Here, it's the animals who are curious about us, not the other way around. In Mana Pools, only a few places are suitable for people to live in. One of them is where the camp of Francisco and his son is located. Francisco is a veterinarian. He moved to Zimbabwe 20 years ago, and now he has made it his home.
I came in Africa for the wild animals. Here, I feel I'm like one of these buffalo or one of these elephant stay here. I'm his friend.
After his son was born, he decided to build an environmentally friendly and comfortable camp. He designed the project based on the features of traditional local housing. The camp doesn't use steel and concrete. He paid for everything out of his own pocket.
Not even those
He needs to work and make money. The camp that Francisco has been building for 16 years could be his best gift to his son, Ari. This is because Ari left him at age 8 to join his mother in Rome.
My life is in the other half. So if I'm lucky, maybe I stay another 10 years or 20 years. But this place is more for my son than for me.
Every school vacation, Ari returns to Zimbabwe. Seizing all the opportunities he has, Francisco tells his son everything he knows about the forest. Now, Ari is learning how to deal with lions. By footprints and other clues, they eventually find the lions 15 kilometers from the camp. There is a young male lion and 4 females. They don't seem to mind being looked at. At sunset, they stand up and vanish in the darkness. Their evening hunt is about to begin. The holiday is coming to an end for 16-year-old Ari. He decides to stay in Zimbabwe and study how to become a geologist. Francisco is happy about that and has more confidence and courage on his road ahead. The camp project is now complete. This is going to be home for this proud man and his son. Different people have different interpretations about African culture. For people who live and work here, there is much to celebrate, from natural wonders to intellectual inspirations. Join us again for Glamorous Zimbabwe, Part 2.